Agriculture Portfolio at the Development Bank of Rwanda, Stephen Rurangwa. Is Stephen Rurangwa in the room? Yes, let's appreciate Stephen as he joins us on set. Feel free to occupy this seat. Also joining us on set is the Director General, Agriculture Value Chain Management and Trade at Minagri, Alice Mukamujema. Yes, let's appreciate her. Thank you. Let's also put our hands together for the Export Services Division Manager at NAEB, Jean-Marie Vianney Munyaneza. And finally, CNFA Enabling Environment Director, Hinga Unguke, Jean de Dieu Umutoni. Let's appreciate him as he comes. All right, so we are going to be joined later on by Alexis Bizimana, Head of Agribusiness at Bank of Kigali. Oh, I see he's here. Can we appreciate him, please, as he joins us on the panel? Feel free to take this mic. Yeah. Okay, so I want just to start off this conversation. I'm sure, Alexi, you are actually closing a deal or two, and that must have led to you getting here when the rest of us had stepped on the panel. And so I'm going to start with you. and I want to just understand, from your perspective, especially when, looking at quality to invest in, if there's a challenge in that particular area or competitiveness, we've heard from the previous panel that's just ended that those are some of the components that sometimes make it harder to avail financing to some of the agribusinesses ventures that come for financing. Maybe if you can just spare some moments and talk to us a bit about the place of competitiveness, the place of these value chains being of high standards for them to be competitive, not just locally, even outside. How does that impact the decision process when you want to be able to avail any financing or make a decision on a farmer that comes within the value chain that they need support from Bank of Kigali?
Yeah, thank you, the moderator. Good afternoon, everyone. So it's very important there is a direct correlation between the financing and the maturity of the value chain. That's where I'm seeing the competitiveness can play a big role. Saying about the maturity of the value chain, I'm referring to the infrastructures, regulations, especially on the seeds. We need to have a quality seeds. We need to have all regulation around that. We need to protect our investments in the seed industry. We need to have a very well structured and mature value chains to make sure that the risks are really minimized. We need to have regulation around taxes, incentives, and all these kind of incentive that the government can put in place so that can be able to do a business. The enabling environment is very well designed and in place. That's make now the value chain very competitive and then attract more financing from our end.
Yeah.
Because once we need to finance, we need to go the entire value chain and try to understand all the risks associated, the available mitigation measures, and how we can structure the proper financing model to be able to support the value chain.
Yeah.
That's where the correlation is clearly defined and is between the competitiveness of the value chain and the financing.
Mm-hmm. I want to skip all the other panelists and go to Jean-Marie, especially because, within the board, you support or look into the aspect of export, of the farm produce that comes from Rwanda. There's a product, I won't mention its name because others will be like, why didn't you mention us as well? It's a very competitive product. It's more popular than even the proprietor that owns the business. And there's a day he was standing in a group of people and they were discussing about his product. but they did not know who he was. And it's even named after him. It's very competitive in Kenya. When I travel, they tell me, please bring us those 2 small bottles of that product because they really love it. I think you already know what I'm talking about. But there's a story behind getting to that competitive level of having Rwandan-made products at the shelves of beyond Rwandan borders. Just take us back a bit. What has happened between this period that, we started making our products competitive to where we are? What components were put in place that you'd like us all to, understand that story, just very briefly?
So when we talk about competitiveness, in export, in agri-export value chains, most of the time we have to understand what we are getting out of it in terms of value. So as you may know, Rwanda, we are landlocked and we don't have a big land. Almost our competitive advantage is about quality. So we are competing with quality and consistency as well. So we have to make sure if we get the market, we are consistent in the market. So in terms of value chains competitiveness, always we have to go through different processes in terms of value chain assessment to understand this value chain is competitive at which level. So what we do, mostly we do research about market size. So what will happen next 30 or 40 years? Is it that this value chain is going to grow? Then we have to see, is it going to create job? And then we have to understand the margin at the farmer level. So that is where we come up saying, this value chain is very competitive. So we do different interventions. First of all, we have to make sure we do market development, and we have to make sure as well we comply with the quality requirement of the market. So we have invested heavily in terms of infrastructure, like laboratories. So we have to make sure what we are sending outside of the country is complying with the requirement. So because of that kind of, we build the trust among the partners, the buyers, the farmers, the exporters. We have seen what we call sustainability in what we are doing. That is why we see, even during the COVID time, export, agri-export values didn't go down. So we keep momentum, and in some value chain like horticulture, again, we exceeded the target during that pandemic period. So in a brief, we understand what we are doing as a country, and again, we have to make sure we advise the stakeholders what to do, and when, and how.
Right, thank you. You'll be able to come back to intervene even more. Alice, you lead a very interesting, section within Minagri, Agriculture Value Chain Management and Trade. Just, share with us a bit, especially I'm looking back and I'm remembering when the Made in Rwanda campaign started and what that did, in terms of pushing for consumption of locally made products. But we also had a few whispers on the corridors that, we can't just buy it just because it's made in Rwanda, because we're being told to buy made in Rwanda. There was an aspect of push also for quality of these specific products. What have you been able to witness in terms of, the end result in the products we're seeing, but also the appreciation of the value chains and not just that particular product we see on the shelf?
Yeah, thank you very much, Anangwe. Yeah, it's true that the consumption of our product have increased, and as you mentioned, it's because of the quality, and different things have been done by the government to reach that level of quality. We have been collaborating with different institutions, being government, being development partners and others to walk through the journey to reach that quality. The government have put different policies to achieve that. And among that, of course, there is my directorate who is there to analyze and see what's going on and advise, being the ministry, our ministry and the Ministry of Trade, to work together to reach that. But also, we have been working with different partners, being RAB, being different partners, of course, to educate farmers, because at the end of the day, if the farmer doesn't do it well, we are not going to reach that level of quality we need at the market. So there have been different training programs. There is a lot of extension services being provided, like every season. Working with RAB and the district or the local government staff, like agronomists and veterinary. So, we have been working together with all of them to educate farmers about the quality, how to increase quantity but also quality to meet what the requirements of the market at the local, of course, but also for the exports. So I think those are the few things, but we have been also supported by different initiatives, like even though you can teach farmers or bring in different policies, but without finance, without finance or without supporting farmers financially, they won't reach there. So there are different programs, different projects. They have been being mentioned today, like the CIDA, different projects which were really there to support, but also the Munganire, the subsidies and different programs to support the farmers in that journey, but to support also us. And also, I can't go without talking about the post-harvest, because even though you do anything, like you invest in production of those good quality products without thinking about the post-harvest, you may lose that quality after the harvest. So the government have really invested in the post-harvest infrastructures, being in for perishable commodities, which were mentioned before, like there are cold rooms and cold chain in general, though we haven't reached there, but we are really there. We are progressing, but also in those other commodities like grains, which can be kept for long. We have different infrastructures which are helping. I think those are some few things we have done as a government.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, we'll come back to talk a bit more about that. I want to hear from Stephen. I want to understand, there's the aspect we had from Alexis on the significance of competitiveness and quality before credit is extended or support is extended to this particular farmer or agripreneur. But how then do you not tell them no, but also just leaving them without any solution? I don't understand the BRD model. How do you still hold their hand and say, yeah, we found a bit of a challenge in the quality of what you want to do, but we're here to work with you, step by step, hand in hand. Just briefly let us in on the BRD model.
Thank you very much, Anangwe. Maybe to begin with, when you talk about yesterday we learned that everything starts with a seed.
Yes.
So it is the foundation of the value chain. And when we talk about the competitiveness and of course trying to improve the quality, we look into how do we try to improve that competitiveness, but as well as having the trade being done. So the process that we undertake as a financial institution, specifically for BRD, first of all, it begins with capacity building. So we need to understand who are we working with in the first place, so that we can have the visibility of what that farmer or that actor is doing. So from there, then we get to know, what do we really want? Do we want, like when we talk about the value chain, So have we given them the capacity to understand what they're actually putting on the market? So basically, we go into understanding and then trying to advise. So putting forward the advisory services which comes into the capacity building. So from there, at least we get to understand that.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, we look at the value chain in terms of understanding, because most farmers or most agripreneurs, they really understand maybe from the lower chain of the value chain. Then we need to understand where does it start from. As we mentioned, we need to start from the seeds. So we need to have the quality seeds, a seed that will multiply, a seed that will increase on the yield, on the production. So from there, then we understand what are other components that constitute the value chain up to the time when we see the upper part of the value chain is also tackled. So from there, then we get to engage different stakeholders within the entire value chain.
Yeah.
But also, we also need to understand that with the current changes, we need to adapt ourselves, understanding that agriculture should not be done on a subsistence level. We need to understand that it should be considered as a commercial thing that one can do. And how to improve that commercial farming is actually adopting the technology, because we understand technology is driving everything today, as we are seeing. Because as it was said yesterday, that when we talk about agriculture, because we understand whatever we are doing, we are relying on agriculture. But you can even see the emerging trends. You talk about the e-mobility. So people are embracing that technology. But why again don't we think about embracing the technology in agriculture? So that goes along with making the actors understand what can we actually do to improve on our production. But the production should also be complemented by understanding that much as you increase the production, but that should also go with the quality, as they have mentioned. Yeah. So the quality should also comply with the standard for us to be able to penetrate the international market, because you can produce, but when you cannot sell, that means you have not produced. Yeah. Therefore, the two should go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Stephen, some farmers will say, it is easier said than done. He makes it look so easy, adopting technology, doing this and that. Yet we had yesterday that 16 years to just come up with a gene. And does Stephen know what it takes to adapt this technology? Some of them are saying that. I can hear them in my ears. What do you tell them, especially when it comes to the bank's understanding that long process, but still saying, look, we will still walk with you in this particular journey of achieving that very easy to say but very difficult to implement model that you're talking about?
Thank you very much. There is a saying that seeing is believing. Mm-hmm. So we agree with that. So if you want somebody to embrace what you really want to be done, then you have to walk the talk. Mm-hmm. By walking the talk, if you really want technology to be embraced in terms of agriculture impact, then you need to have some experts. Like if we're talking about, we need to increase the credit access to farmers through a way of technology. So that means you should have it practical so that they are able to see that it is something that is doable. So that means it should be the role of the financial institution that we need to go out and shout what should happen and what should have an impact to that farmer or a business person doing business in terms of agriculture.
All right, let me cross over to Jean de Dieu Umutoni and talk a bit about what I'm just hearing on this particular panel, and specifically on the issue of what is required, especially for support to increase quality. I'm looking at this smallholder farmer, for instance, and Stephen mentioned clearly and says, have experts within your farming business to be able to help you. And this smallholder farmer doesn't even have enough money to invest, even in himself or themselves. And now they have to also hire an expert to be able to help them in that particular area. How do you see this being a reality, for those who are smallholder farmers, those within the informal farming space? How do we bring them on board? How do we make sure that what we're hearing here as part of what they require to have quality and to be competitive and trade be a reality for them?
Okay, thank you, Anangwe. Under Hingaunguke, of course, we work with the small farmers.
Yeah.
And as they said before, our entry point is the private companies. We know that those companies are close to farmers and are working with the farmers.
Yeah.
So if we want to have impact in sustainability, we have to use those private companies. For instance, when we talk about the seeds, we know it's not easy for the farmers to reach, to access the white seeds, but you have like a model we use, we have what we call farm service center. It's where a farm can come and access all information or input it needs for agriculture. So now we are working with the private companies. Now we have like 7 companies. We are supporting them so that they can have that centers where farmers can come and access the white seeds, the information, but also in that partnership, they are working closely with the banks. If a farmer needs any information related to the bank, they can access the information. But also more to that, we also other processing companies that even if those farmers are producing, but maybe because they're not able to process, they can access the market with those companies. So we provide some grants so that those companies can have machines process, but also buy what the farmers has produced.
Yeah, yeah. In your opinion, what's the missing link? What is it that is not being talked about that you feel should be on the center of the table, especially when it comes to this conversation on competitiveness of our farmers? What is it that we are not talking about yet we should be talking about?
Maybe what I can say, since yesterday, I have seen some presentation part discussion. You can see that we almost have everything. But the issue is how we collaborate or how we share what you have. Because when someone is doing something and the other doesn't know, it will not bring impact. So what we need, what is missing to have that competitiveness is just to collaborate, talk together, and to share what you have. Because you have a lot, but the issue is how we are just reaching our beneficiaries.
Jean-Marie, isn't that a concern? What do we need to talk to each other? Why is it difficult for us to collaborate? Akanyafu, what's needed?
So, competitiveness, in my understanding, most of the time there is a concept of inclusiveness. So we have seen in most of the value chains where most of the time the farmers are left behind. Recently, I did a kind of small research about avocado value chains. I found that when you look at the export price, the farmer is only getting less than 30%.
Can I pause you just a bit? You said left behind. I don't want this to pass. Left behind by who?
Yes, by other value chain actors, because most of the time...
No, let's not protect anyone here.
Yes.
Who?
So let's say, for example, aggregators. So aggregators and exporters in that value chain of avocados. More than around 60% is being taken by those two guys, exporters and aggregators. Probably transporters is going to take 5% or 10%. But imagine if you are producing an avocado, then you are getting only less than 30%. Do you think you are still, you feel that you are, included in the value chain? Sometimes we say they are exploiting you.
Yeah.
So that is where we see a big challenge when we talk about competitiveness. You will see probably farmer is not happy. If they're not happy, the value chain is not going to work.
Yeah. And the board cannot also sit happy and pretty when this is happening. So what are you doing about it as NAEB?
So we are trying to organize value chains, try to probably to remove some barriers like those aggregation costs, for example, where the farmers can organize under cooperative, and then cooperative can take all the other activities in terms of aggregation. Secondly, we are trying to see how the farmers as well can be organized to become exporters as well. Because we have seen good cooperatives here who are exporters, and working on the behalf of the farmers, and then the margin comes back to the farmers.
Yeah.
Lastly is about incubation. So 2019, under Nayeb, we found that there is a gap in terms of educating, SMEs most of the time. We decided to set up an incubation, project to ensure if the SMEs are coming in the business, they are educated, they have been trained, they are given information about the market access, logistics, and the other information about the market. So incubation is very critical to provide, to capacitate SMEs or exporters. Lastly is about logistics. Basically, people, they don't talk about logistics, but in the export industry, we are facing a big challenge as a country. We are landlocked sometimes. We have those issues in terms of logistics. We're trying to develop solutions, local solutions. I remember the time we started exporting avocado via sea. Most of the people, they were telling us you are going to fail. But the proof of concept was, tested and proved. Now we are sending avocados via sea without any problem. So we have to make sure always when we are under value chain development, we develop a solution based on the constants we have and see if it can work. So really, I emphasize on that in terms of find solution for our own issues in our own context as well.
Yeah, I like that. So what you're saying is there are opportunities within the infrastructure space, opportunities for investment. So anyone in the room who probably has a friend or has the money, they can invest in infrastructure as a way of supporting the cooperatives in that sense. Alice, just maybe share with us, before we open the floor for questions, we had Jean de Dieu talk about the need for information to flow smoothly, but also for partnerships to happen. What could be causing a gap, a clog of this from flowing? Is it the whole subject itself? We're talking about competitiveness. So are people now working in a competitive mode that is not able to allow for collaboration? Are there any rooms for collaboration? What would you be advising the players in the sector in that area?
Yeah, thank you. I would say that even there are no platforms, or even the existing ones are not really working well, but we have been trying to organize platforms depending on the value chains, but still...
Which ones are these that are existing that are not working well? We want to close them today.
You mean?
These platforms that are existing but are not working, we want to shut them down today. Which ones are they?
I mean, the answer is not to shut them down, but instead to strengthen them, to see how we can revamp them so that they can start working well. Mostly, let's say, like we used to have the horticulture sector working group. It has been a while since they worked. I mean, they operated, but I think that's the thing we can revamp and bring together most horticulture value chain actors. But not only the horticulture, we have different value chains. We have different actors, being the primary actors, being even the second, the enablers. So I believe what is really the gap is that operating or the and I think that's something which could help the collaboration. I think that's the thing.
Yeah. So any commitment from you, probably within your portfolio, that you would say from this?
Like priority ones, which we can start with. And from them, I mean, if they are, I believe that if they work well, they can be even an example, set an example for other value chains. But also, as the government, we have been starting to see how we can digitalize things so that not farmers only, but different actors can get to obtain information. Yeah, so I think that's something I can look at, and I can work, of course, with my other colleagues and other stakeholders to reach that.
Yeah, thank you. I want to open the floor, and then we'll come back to hear from Stephen and, of course, my good friend, Jean-Marie. Let's just open the floor. If you have any question, intervention, please shoot your hand up. Yes, I have a hand over there. Do you have the microphones at the back? Just keep your hand up so that they can see you and give you the microphone. Right.
Thank you, Anangwe. I'm called Emmanuel Mugisha. Besides my official duties, I'm a farmer. And I've learned that agriculture, as the DG was saying yesterday, Patrick, that it contributes 38% of our exports, is something to consider, starting from the policymakers to middle managers to everyone. So I want to highly appreciate our panelists for discussing such an important topic. But I have a question, but I don't know who I can address it to, but maybe in this case it's going to be Jean-Marie from Naeb, because exports have to do with his portfolio. I learned about the challenges of value chain when I first heard of this new crop called chia seed. That's when I realized that we have big problems in our agricultural value chain system. We had some meetings with him, that's why maybe he can know me very well. This product was considered to be one of those new concepts that would make a difference in our GDP. At some point, I even realized that it could be even our oil or petrol or gold mining products. Because at the time, I realized that organic chia seed was about $6 to $10 per kg once it gets to the markets out there. But how this product disappeared is amazing. And this gave me to believe that maybe there are also some other similar products that are out there that we should be proving as concepts in Rwanda that would add value, or even expand our export base. Since colonial times, we've had coffee and tea as our leading export cash crops, or let us call them our cash cows as a country. We've never seen new concepts coming up. And we are talking about competitiveness and trade. And whenever we talk about competitiveness, we have to look to our advantage. Where is our competitive advantage? Because we are competing with others who have been in this sector for so long. Good enough recently came Avocado House, which is also making a difference. But how are we, as a country, as policymakers, making a choice to say that we have identified 1, 2, 3 crops that we think if we put in our efforts and promote them like you promote our lovely Ingadi out there, that give us foreign currencies, we can make a difference. Maybe I'm addressing this to Jean-Marie, but I think every member of the panel there in their official duties, they are qualified enough to answer this because it's a system that can make a difference.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Right? Any other? Yes, at the front. It should be on. Yeah.
International Potato Center here in Rwanda. Of course, we have many offices all over the world focusing on potato. I just wanted to really make a comment or really emphasize the importance of quality. Quality pushes, or the consumer pull it, and the producers push the quality. And one of the products that Anangwe you mentioned, so where I come from, when I say I'm going to Rwanda, they say, please carry this so much. So everybody just ask because it's just the quality that is making it to be to pull it. But it's all about information. So And then so people know about this quality, people know about that competitive products. So I think I just wanted to ask, in terms of marketing chain, including communication, or including logistics, aggregation, what are some of the things, or what are some of the intervention that we have done to improve the competitiveness of our value chain? But also my other question goes to Alice. You just, as you are finishing, you mentioned about digital. And what is the role, or how do we see the digitization in really increasing competitiveness? We are in a global village. If I post something right now on WhatsApp, everybody just gets to know the whole world. Where are we, or what's our role? What's the role of the digitization in increasing competitiveness?
Right. Thank you. Very clear. One more, and then we come back to respond to all of them. Okay. Let's handle these questions, and then we can close this particular session. I can see my good friend Jean-Marie, you want to go fast? Yeah, please proceed.
Thank you, Mugisha. So Mugisha raised a good question about the value chain choice. Actually, we, as a country, we have what we call priority crops. So we have the list. So whatever for food security and for agri-export as well. So if you need more information, you can come to Nayeb, or we can show you the whole list. In horticulture, we know which probably the first 8 commodity priority crops. So in terms of high value crops. And then in food security, where we put much focus in terms of ensuring the food in the country. So there is no question about that. There is a policy about that. So we know which value chain we can promote. Coming back to the chia seed. So chia seed as a value chain is not a problem at all. The chia seed is a good crop. But how the chia seed was handled is where we see the problem. So how it was introduced. If you remember very well during all discussions, this chia seed was introduced here informally. So meaning that there is a process to introduce a new crop in the country, and then how it is adopted to go to the farmers, for production. So there is a protocol about that. So if you remember, this chia seed was not tested in terms of adaptability in a collaboration with RICA and the RAB. That process was not done. Even we didn't know where the seeds comes from. That's where even the issue started from. If you want to go for export, always we keep in mind the concept of traceability. Traceability is very key. So you cannot trade what you don't know. This is even the main issue. So you said chia seed you can get $10, even you can get even 20. But what chia seed was always sold at $3 like that, because there is no traceability system behind of it. The buyer would like to know the history, the origin of the product before they pay any dollar. So meaning that the chia seed was not a problem. Currently, even we are working with the other stakeholders to ensure it can be introduced, formally and be promoted like other value chains. So we didn't stop producing chia seed, but we are revamping the value chain to ensure it can respond to the needs of the value chain actors. I think on my side, I think that is.
Okay, all right. Anyone else wants to take any of the questions that were raised? Yes, Alice?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dina, for the good question about the digital role in increasing competitiveness. So I believe, yes, the digital has a big role to play in increasing competitiveness of the whole value chains. Let's say, like, we have been thinking of, it's something which is even being developed, the digital platform of seeds. I'm sure most of some people know about it. So we believe that, like I've heard someone asking about the availability of potato seeds, and we believe that by digitalizing those seeds, including potato, farmers themselves, they will know where to get the good seeds. And from there, we know that they are growing some good quality seeds, which will be able to compete at the end of the day, being in quality but also in productivity. And I believe that will help farmers to be competitive, not only farmers, but even different actors in the value chain. I would also say that NIEP have been thinking, together with Minagri, have been thinking about developing or improving the new e-Soko platform, which was to include the component of commercialization. I believe that was to increase the visibility of our products, because we have different good products. Many people around the world really appreciate our products, but you'll find that we're still facing some issues in reaching different markets. So we believe that using the digital one will help us to reach even those places which did not know our product. And we believe that that will help our products to be competitive on different markets, being domestic, being even international or even regional. So I think those are the things I can say about the role of the digitalization in increasing competitiveness.
Thank you. Jean de Dieu, you want to collaborate? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I want to talk about the digital intervention we have as a team. As Alice said, there is one about the seeds. Yesterday we had the issue of the counterfeit seeds, but I think one of the way of controlling seeds is to go digital. And I remember in Tembuto Nziza under Agra, they had that initiative, and the Tembuto Nziza 2 is coming, and the focus will be to have the digital on the side of seed, so that you can have the quality seed. You can check, you can have traceability of our seeds to know that if we have a counterfeit seed, we know. So I think that is one. Another one, I think Levi talked about it with the BK Tech House. We know they have SNS where farmers are getting inputs through South, but also they want to add other features where they can access like the weather information, customized one. Yeah. Also, they're starting to provide loans, digital loans through SNS. I think that's other intervention you have under digital.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a chance to now give us your closing remarks as we come this way. What's the future like? Unless if there's a burning question that one wants to push in, but yeah. So I'm going to give you a chance just to be able to give us your closing remarks. What are the key commitments that you're making from where you sit in terms of supporting with this issue of pushing for competitiveness and trade? The issue of packaging, people just package anyhow the way they want. Is there something that you would be able to say this is what we commit to do in supporting the smallholder farmers and those within the value chain in your closing remarks?
Okay, thank you very much. I think maybe I can start with the packaging. Mark knows it that we have like the quality champions here in Rwanda, and one of our task is packaging. So we want to work with the companies because we have that skills, so that we can help our companies to be able to compare at the international standards. Yeah. But another maybe take-home message is that from yesterday we have been listing some challenges. But when you go back, you can see that every challenge has at least what they are doing on it. So I wish that I have seen that we have another Congress in 2026, I think. So in that Congress, we'll be maybe sharing some success stories about those challenges.
Yeah. Thank you. Jean-Marie, your biggest headache as you plan to support Rwanda to export more, what are those things that make you guys lose your hair? Because it's not working the way you want.
So for us, actually, the most critical fact is about how we can really access, the market. Not only just a small market, but how we can attract the big operators in the industry to bring not only the money, but as well as technologies. Because we have seen when you are working with small-scale farmers, it's very difficult to bring in technologies. So we want to ensure we bring those big guys in the industry. Secondly, branding. We are talking about packaging, but we have seen recently that if you want to sustain on the market, you have to work on the branding. Branding is about communication. How do you communicate your products to, to audience? Branding is very critical. It can make you even strong in the market, and as well as attract big buyers of your products. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Alice, your closing remarks?
Yeah, thank you. As someone from the government, I would say that the government have been setting good policies, but one of the key issues is, everyone knows that we have limited resources, and but there are resources everywhere. I mean, from different partners or stakeholders. So I'm calling everyone to come and work together, collaborate more to make those value chains work effectively so that we can achieve this competitiveness we are talking about. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Alexis and Stephen, I'll ask you the same question as you also plug in your closing remarks. What are the trends that you're seeing in terms of those who are coming to seek for support from you? As far as these value chains are concerned, which part of the chain is most successful when they knock on the doors and they're like, yes, we need this kind of support? Maybe someone in the room is thinking and they might want a shift. So that's where the money is being given. So can we all move there?
Thank you very much, Anangwe. I would say that when I'm asked to speak about what value chain could do equally be important than the other, I would say it should be a coordinated system. One should speak to one another. That means if you start with a seed, then you're targeting the market. That means the entire value chain, as they talked about the logistics, they talked about the post-harvest infrastructure that has to be in place. So that means we shouldn't leave anything behind. We should take it in a coordinated manner. That should be entire value chain. So that means they are all equally important. But something I may also add on is, as Alice said, I think everything starts with enabling environment. From the time we started this conference, I think we've been seeing the emerging trends in terms of technology, genetic modification of crops. So that means for us to be able to move where we want to go, we really need to understand what could be the trend in terms of technology that we need to take. So basically, we need to embrace the entire system that we really want to increase our productivity, but improving productivity goes hand in hand with the selected varieties. So that means with the seed, then we need to see that we are using the quality seed, but also trying to improve its quality, and then we are able to now to be able to penetrate on the international market.
Right, thank you. After going round the entire conversation chain, panel responses chain, we are back to Alexis for the closing remarks, just the way we started.
Yeah, thank you very much. Maybe to complement what my colleague Stephen is saying. So allow me to take an example of seed value chains. For example, let us talk about the maize value chain and Irish potato value chain. We're seeing there is a strong relationship between the buyer and farmers. So under a coordinated way of producing or multiplying these seeds, that's allow us, give us comfort to support them. And it's very important for other value chain also to have this strong relationship, that strong link between the buyer and farmers, and then one can come in to support with the different products we have. So as Bank of Kigali, we are here to stay. We are Rwandans. We are supporting farmers. We are open for collaborations. We are starting our kickoff with digitalization of key value chains. That's our contribution in terms of competitiveness of these value chains. We have technical assistance products and services that we are working with our clients and potential partners. That's where our role with the ecosystem approach, where we are targeting the entire value chains, and we have unique financial solution for each segment. And we'll be happy to see this value chain being more mature, competitive enough. And then as financial institution, we are ready to support and come up with financial solutions.
All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. Can we appreciate our panelists, please, ladies and gentlemen? Like I always say, we cannot exhaust everything. This is just the beginning of the conversation. It can continue, should continue in the different spheres in the networking sessions. Please, let's continue having this conversation. Thank you once again, and we'll be now breaking for lunch. I'm told it is served, and we'll be back at 15 minutes after 2. Please, let's be back in the room. We can give you another 3 minutes so that we are back in an hour from now, and we'll be able to close this session or this very amazing Congress. Thank you very much, and bon appetit. Today and tomorrow, we're going to be having an opportunity for us to have real conversations and get to hear our opening remarks, to be able to understand why we are here and the importance of this particular Congress.
It is with great pleasure to welcome you to the second Rwanda National City Congress 2024. I wish to appreciate, especially welcome our guests who have traveled from various parts of the world. We are very happy to host you here in Kigali.
Coming here, I felt we want to congratulate the National Seed Association in Rwanda for putting seed security and seed industry development as a key priority in the agenda. I wish you a very good conference, and I hereby declare the second National Seed Conference open. Thank you for your congratulations.
Our vision is all farmers have access to quality seed for food security.
Seed was one of the first programs to be established at Agro. And we did realize that if you are going to have an effective seed system, there are certain key components which must be in place.
For the National Seed Association of Rwanda, which plays a very pivotal role within the professionalism of the seed industry, is to echo the voices of the seed actors.
Agriculture modernization cannot be achieved if seed industry is not modernized.
Seeds are the foundation of our agri-food systems, the starting point of every harvest, and the promise of a future where food security is a reality for all.
Welcome to the land of 1,000 hills, Rwanda, where beauty and safety converge. Today, we invite you to explore our captivating nation and discover why Rwanda is the perfect host for the prestigious AFSTA Congress. Rwanda boasts state-of-the-art conference facilities, equipped to meet the needs of any event. Our dedicated team of professionals will ensure that the AFSTA 2025 is flawlessly organized, providing you with a seamless and productive experience. But don't just take our word for it. Numerous international conferences have already found a home in Rwanda, making it a preferred destination for global gatherings. Our track record speaks for itself. From the first Rwanda Seed Congress, organized by NSAR in partnership with the private sector. Immerse yourself in our world-renowned national parks, where you can witness the majesty of gorillas in their natural habitat. Trek through dense forests, connect with nature, and create memories that will last a lifetime. Step into our vibrant cities and experience the rich tapestry of Rwandan culture. From the colorful traditional dances to the lively markets filled with local crafts and delicacies, our communities are eager to welcome you with open arms. Rest and rejuvenate in our world-class accommodations, where comfort meets elegance. From boutique hotels overlooking stunning landscapes to luxurious resorts with impeccable service, we ensure your stay is nothing short of extraordinary. Rwanda is more than just a destination, it's an experience. Join us in our commitment to excellence, security, and warm hospitality. Choose Rwanda as the host for the AFSTA 2025 Congress, and together, let's cultivate a brighter future.
In a world where every seed planted is a promise for the future. Join us on a journey through the heart of resilience and sustainability, the backbone of our agriculture food systems. Uncover the stories of young, hardworking farmers, innovative technologies, and the interconnected web that forms the agriculture food systems value chain. It's more than just farming. It's about building a resilient future. From the rich soil to the hands that nurture every crop and livestock, witness the beauty of sustainable agriculture in action. It's a community effort. Farmers, scientists, distributors, and consumers working hand in hand to create a sustainable, thriving ecosystem. Discover the movement behind the numbers. Taste the fruits of resilience. See how a sustainable agriculture food system impacts what's on your plate and the health of our global community. Join us as we celebrate the unsung heroes who cultivate our future while inspiring generations. Sowing the you.